Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Soto here with Adam Windbags, back with another one. Early this Saturday morning, because I wake up and the first thing I do is I check my phone, like I think 99.9% of everyone does, right? And I get bombarded with these messages and I get bombarded with these updates. What is going on in Raider Nation? Well, there's some good and there's potentially some not so good. So here we go. And these are three credible sources, okay? Adam Schefter, Ian Rapaport, and Tom Pelissero. So, Adam Schefter reported that Antonio Pierce is a leading candidate for the head coaching position. All these links are in the description. If you want to call me out on my BS, it's all in there. So, reports are Adam Schefter is saying that Mark Davis is still weighing his options, but there's two firm camps that have emerged within Raider Nation. And there's the Harbaugh camp, there's the AP camp. I think we can kind of figure out the age group and demographic of who wants who. I'm not saying anything, but it's pretty clear. Schefter goes on to report, inside the Raiders' extended family, including fans and ex-players, sources say they have emerged a Harbaugh camp and a Pierce camp, with the locker room publicly united behind its interim coach. Crosby, one of the respected leaders and sounding boards for Mark Davis, has been through rebuilds in the past, doesn't want to go through another one again, and believes Pierce has earned the right to continue building upon the culture and energy he has built in Las Vegas this season. A lot of stuff, man, a lot of stuff going on. And Mark Davis has a very difficult decision. Well, maybe not so difficult, but a very important decision coming up, because he's already done this before, and he's already said, hey, trust me on this, with the football guy, with this, with the guy with the track record, and with the guy, all this. He's done that before, and it just failed miserably. Could it be it was just a bad decision, not a bad decision to make? Possibly. Because, a lot of times your thought process is right, but the selection is wrong. Okay. So it's not to say that just because Josh McDaniels didn't work out, that Harbaugh is not going to work out, or to go with a guy with an more experienced head coach won't work out better. But it's hard to sell that to the locker room when when the players are the ones that are in it. The players are the ones that have to go through it. Antonio Pierce not just has Maxx Crosby, like all the leaders in the clubhouse, in the locker room, are looking for AP. So Schefter also said about this is what Davante Adams was quoted. He comes in and does a great job. He's continued to win us over, and it's not just the comfortable thing. I think having AP here will be good for this organization. He kind of embodies what it means to be a Raider. That mentality, that swag, and all the things he endorses is the things that I believe in. So it's not just the fact that AP goes out there, walks it, talks it. He's basically an extension and the point of the arrowhead for the Raiders, the point of the sword for the Raiders. He's not just preaching it to the players. He's the face. He's in front of it with all the players behind him. It's easy for a guy like me, especially having dealt with him a little bit this year now and gotten to know him and see his evolution in front of the team. All those things, all those different fields of being a head coach, definitely rooting for him. Wow. Look, there's a lot of names floating out there. There's Harbaugh, there's Belichick, there's Vrabel. A lot of names floating out there. Vrabel, I don't know where he fits in. Belichick could retire. We could have seen Belichick's retirement speech, because ultimately I think Belichick wants to go. It's very difficult to go from being the king to not being the king, right? And for 20-something years, Belichick was the king in New England with the Patriots. So for him to go to another situation and just coach, I think personally that was the sticking point between Belichick and Robert Kraft. Was maybe Robert Kraft wanted to take away some of his power, and it's very difficult to go backwards. That's why it's very difficult. It would probably be almost impossible for AP to stay on the Raiders staff and not be the head coach. It's very difficult to go back. So Belichick would probably want to go somewhere and have complete total control. I don't know with his track record, especially recently, that teams are going to give him that. Now, he's been strongly linked to the Atlanta job. Who knows if that's true? But I think that's good. Go to Atlanta. don't come to Vegas, right? Um, and freaking Harbaugh, he's still in negotiations with Michigan. He's still negotiating contract with Michigan. So it's like, is he in? Is he out? 1 foot here, 1 foot there. Harbaugh's doing what I think most of us would do in this situation. He's playing his options against one another. And that's all great. That's all well and good, but that doesn't scream to me that you want to be a Raider. And that's what I want. I want someone that wants to be here. Schefter was given a quote, unnamed source. So, I mean, who knows how much you want to put into this, but this person close to the situation with the Raiders said they would be blown away if Antonio Pierce wasn't mentioned as head coach or wasn't hired as head coach of the Raiders. And that's probably a good thing because NFL Network's Ian Rapaport and Tom Pelissero, the link's below. I'm not full of it. Both reported, 2 insiders both reported that if Antonio Pierce is not hired as the Raiders' next head coach, Maxx Crosby will likely request a trade. Now, Maxx Crosby, and like I said, other leaders, and we've heard about from Davante Adams, have been very vocal in their support for Antonio Pierce. And it's not just they like him. I think it was the Bisaccia thing was they liked the guy, right? And he was a lot of things that John Gruden wasn't. With AP, it's not just that. They respect his football acumen. The coaches respect him. He embodies what they want to project as a team, as an organization, as a culture. And he is the Raiders. That is who a Raider fan is, right? Doesn't care what people think. I'm going to wear all black Air Force Ones. I don't care what that means to other people. I'm going to wear diamond stud earrings. I'm going to drive a 6'4" Impala to the game. That is what that kind of like thumbing your nose at the authority, at the NFL. We're going to do it our way because we're better than you. And that's just kind of like what the Raider way is. And I think we got away from that for a long time where people went in there and they were just phonies. Like, hey, hello, American youth. Like, how are you? No, dude, like, we don't want that. We don't need that. Okay. Not only has Max been extremely vocal in his support for AP, he tweeted out on his Twitter account, #HireAP. On top of that, Max told reporters that he felt it was bullshit. This is his words, that it was bullshit that he's only made the playoffs 1 time in 5 years. And that he wants some stability and some fucking those are his words, some stability and some fucking consistency because he is sick of change. He's sick and tired of it. 5 seasons. He got like, well, how many head coaches has he had? Like 4 head coaches now in 5 years? It's ridiculous. 4 head coaches, 3 defensive coordinators. It's like, come on, man. Give him some consistency. Give the man what he wants. Give this organization, give this culture what they want. I don't know. Actually, I do know pretty well for a fact that Raider Nation will be a lot more patient with AP. Let's just say, for example, that next year doesn't go as well. Okay? He's going to get a lot more leash than they gave to Josh McDaniels to get his bearings to progress as a head coach. And as an owner, you want to have consistency, you want to have stability, but you also want to win. And the way you do that is with your players. Players make plays. Players win games. I said it before and I'll say it again. You could put Bill Belichick on those 0-16 Lions team, the 0-16 Cleveland Browns team. They're not going anywhere. He didn't have talent. You have talent on this team, and you have a coach that's been shown to be able to lead that talent, to be able to touch, to be able to affect this talent. Maxx Crosby also was quoted as saying this: there are only 32 head coaches in the world, NFL head coaches. So you've got to find a leader of men. And when you've got one of them in the building, I don't know why you would let them go. Leader of men, not just players. Are coaches men too? Are assistant coaches and coordinators, are they men too? Yes. You need to have a leader of men who's be able to develop, which we saw a lot more once AP took over. We saw a lot more development and a lot more progression with these young players with AP on board. The issue is clear. Are you stuck doing what everyone else wants you to do? Or are you going to do what the Raiders do? We've heard it before, and I'm going to say it again. There are 31 NFL franchises, and then there are the Raiders. We do things our way. The problem is, Mark Davis took over and wanted to be one of the good old boys. He wanted to be one of the in the billionaire boys club. Okay, you can be a billionaire and not be a douchebag. Okay, you can be a billionaire and not crumble to the pressures of everyone else. Because wouldn't it be just so much sweeter if you do things your way and you still kick their ass? And that's the Raider way. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna do things our way. And it's not gonna look the same. It's gonna look different. Other franchises may turn their noses at us. Reporters around the league may say, "Oh, well, these Raiders are thugs, and these Raider fans are this and that," and people get beat up and make all these national stories about people getting beat up in NFL. Look, people get beat up in every stadium, in every game. Okay, I don't know if you've been watching, but there are fights in every NFL stadium, in every game, no matter how hot, how cold, how windy, the weather, the location, the demographic, it doesn't matter. There are fights in every NFL stadium across the country at every game. But people want to blow it up because it's the Raiders. And that's fine because I embrace that. I don't care. People want to say that I'm this and I'm that, or Raider fans are criminals and thugs and all this stuff, and they're bad for football. Okay, that's fine. We're still going to win. And that's the mentality I feel to get back to where we need to be, to get these players back to where they need to be. That's the mentality we need to have. Personally, me, I would hate to lose a or two, not even just lose, because yeah, it would be losing. Whether you trade Maxx Crosby or you force him to play his contract, but he's not fully in it because he feels disenfranchised, because he's had, in this case, it would be 5 head coaches in 6 seasons, and more than likely 4 defensive coordinators in 6 seasons. I wouldn't want to go through that either. So why are we trying to put Max through that? Why are you trying to put these other players through that? Why? Why? Because you want to be like everybody else. You want to make the smart choice. Make the choice that's right for your team. I've been arguing with RJ left and right, and I'm like, this person may be a better coach for all 31 other teams in the NFL. But I believe AP is the best coach for this team that we have. And if you want to go through a whole new break, just don't be fooled. Okay. These head coaches, they want everything their way. Harbaugh comes in, guess what's going to happen? He's going to strip it down to the studs and he's going to build it back up again. That's going to be more years of us going through all this BS. And who knows if we're going to hit with the same amount of players that we hit with this time? Who knows if we're going to be able to develop the players that we're going to get that we developed already? We already have some progress with the roster that we have, and we have the ability to add a quarterback and to add an offensive coordinator and to just tweak the roster here and there, because we didn't lose a lot of games by a lot of points. We were in a lot of close games last season that we lost. The Steelers game, the Chargers game, the Indy game that we lost. Those 3 games right there, if we win those, man, we're an 11-win team. And the issue is we're looking at what other teams would do if you're looking at get Harbaugh. And I'm just not for it, man. I'm not for it. And the problem that we're seeing is whenever somebody is not on board with something, they will find any excuse. Oh, he lost to this team. He lost to that team. Yeah. He also took over a really bad situation, right? AP took over a really bad situation, and he won more games than he lost. He beat the Chiefs at the Chiefs. When's the last time we did that? It's been a little while. All you have to look at is go back and take a look at not only what's being done, what has been done, but what can be done in the future. If you give this gentleman, Antonio Pierce, a full off season, more control of the roster, more time to implement what he wants to do offensively. Defensively, I think we're good. But you're grading AP on a staff, players, a system that was not picked by him. He came in and took someone else's vision, and he won more often than not. Think about that. Think about that. If you're going to bang on AP for losing losing the games that he did lose, the Vikings game, all these stuff. Oh, he lost these games. He lost to the Dolphins. He should have won, and this and that, blah blah blah. But he didn't have his team. He took someone else's scraps that were playing even worse than what he took over, right? And he got him to over a 500 record. One of the best defenses, the best defense in the league, points per game wise, since he took over the team. Think about that, guys. Think about that. He took scraps. He took someone else's scraps and made a gourmet meal out of it. And he said, here you go. And you're not going to hire him as your head chef. I don't know, man. The problem is talent wins. Super Omicron, exactly right. Talent wins. When you have talent, you have to develop it. There's a lot of players in the NFL. Trust me. We're like, oh man, this guy ran a 4.4. Oh, this guy ran a 4.6. You know what the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.6 is? It's not that much. It's like this much. Okay? That's how much running a 4.440 and a 4.64. That's the difference. Okay? These guys are all superb athletes. These guys have all their majors in college were all football. They could tell you it's criminal justice, it's sociology, it's engineering. No, it was football. They all know football. They all are smarter at football than I think any of us will ever be. Okay? You have to motivate them to want to work hard and do the things that aren't flashy when no one's watching. The extra sets. Go make sure you're on time for your prehab and your rehab. Make sure you're watching film. Come together as a unit without the coaches and watch more film and study and be prepared. When you're motivated, when you trust and believe in your leadership, you're more apt to do that. And that's what we saw defensively, especially. And we also saw offensively a jump in Aiden O'Connell's development from a fourth-round rookie who really wasn't paid a lot of attention to, guys. I understand the trepidation. I understand, this guy's just a better head coach. Yeah, but not for this team, because he won't coach this team. He'll get rid of this team. He'll break down this team. Okay? This team has shown that with all the issues and all the stuff going on with it, it was able to be a fringe playoff team. Why throw that away again? We understand. Okay, let's see. Super Omicron. Let's see what we got on here. I understand. I think you're saying a couple different things here. He's just huffing and puffing. Ed Dodds did a great job at Indy, and he should be the GM and hire the damn coach. Style over substance. Swag isn't winning. Super Omicron, you're missing the point. Dominique 5, because he will. Because that's what head coaches do. Head coaches don't go into situations that aren't like championship caliber, because they want, if they're going to put their name and their career on something, they're not going to want to cook with someone else's ingredients. They're going to use their own. That's just the fact. This is not an opinion. Okay? What I'm telling you guys is not an opinion. Harbaugh will come in and he will do, any coach will come in who's not AP and drastically change this roster and drastically change the coaching staff, because they want their guys and their things and their vision, and they want what they want. Simple as that. Swag, it doesn't have to be swag over substance because swag can lead to substance. Like I was saying, these players are all elite athletes. They're all good football players. You just have to tap in to what's going to make them their best. We've said it. I've said it. RJ said it. The best head coaches maximize the talent of their players. And how you maximize their talent is you get them to do the things they hate to do when no one's watching, like they love it. If a guy is, maybe not the best student of the game and he just goes out on athletic talent and wins, how do you get them to be better? He's already a great athlete. He's already working on his technique and his body and all. You get him to watch film more. You get him to study more, right? The whole Kyler Murray thing. You get him to study more. How do you get a guy who's like really studious and like, maybe he's not the strongest? You get him in the weight room. You get him to do the stuff that he's not doing. That's what a lot of people are missing. Swag and substance aren't like the opposite sides of a coin. You can have both. And I think that with this team that we have, with a championship level defense, the way they played, and a couple of tweaks on offense, we can be a perennial contender for a lot of years. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I understand this is a divisive issue and a divisive topic, but I wanted to hop on and talk to you guys about it because it's something that's very important for the future of the Raiders and for the future of a lot of its stars. Make sure, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, love you. Peace.